Hey, it's Holly here. Really hot topic today, and that is that putting yourself first is somehow selfish. I would love to know, is that something you've ever felt yourself? Is that something that you've ever thought? Is it something that you hear other people say? So today's video, I am really going to look to flip this idea on its head. I'm going to reveal why putting ourselves first is actually essential and how everyone else benefits when we do this. So this came up recently for me because I was facilitating a 4-day leadership development program for an organization who I work with. I do these maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So their high potential talent go through this 4-day development course to develop their leadership skills, and I'm one of the coaches that works with them. And one of the participants, a woman, said to me, "Oh, 4 days just working on yourself kind of feels a bit self-indulgent." And it was a bit of a throwaway comment, but there was an underlying seriousness to that. She genuinely did believe, this seems a little bit too much to spend 4 whole days just learning about me and myself. Now, this comment, it really did sadden me. It's something I hear a lot from women in particular, but it didn't surprise me. It comes up again and again. And we seem to believe that somehow putting ourselves first, our needs first, is either selfish or arrogant or rude, or there's that idea of, who am I to put my wants before other people's, or that somehow in doing this, we're creating a negative impact on others around us. And this is just not true. And I want you to consider just how important it is to work on ourselves, because our self-development is the most important investment we can ever make. We focus far too often, especially when it comes to business and leadership and our careers, on what we are doing. But every single result we get, every impact we desire to create, doesn't ultimately come down to just what we're doing. Far more so, it comes down to who we are being as a person in that moment. Now, we cannot be the best version of ourselves if, first and foremost, we don't know ourselves because we've never really taken the time to grow our own self-awareness. And we haven't taken the time to develop ourselves and really understand, how do I get the response I want? How do I land the message I want to with the impact I want? How do I bring others on board? How do I have a positive influence on those around me? And that all comes down to experience of knowing how we like to work, knowing what we're good at, knowing what our areas of development are, and really seeing it as a consistent, continuous practice to develop ourselves further. And I want you to think right now of the difference between those days where you've been working in an area of your passion, something that you're really interested in, you've had a fabulous day, you've been in your flow, you've done something really, really interesting, and you are just feeling as high as a kite. You can't wait to come home and tell everyone about it. You pretty much skip across the doorstep because you're just radiating this positive energy. Trust me when I say that everyone else feels the impact of that as well. When you are in alignment and connected to what you're doing, you bring more, you have more to give, you have more to contribute. Everyone else feels that as well. When you're aligned to the work that you care about, that you're motivated about, notice how much more you want to speak up. Notice how much more you want to share. Notice how much more you want to go the extra mile. So you feeling energized and in the flow and excited and passionate and motivated about what you're doing is a win-win for everyone around you. But it comes down to you knowing yourself and ultimately being able to put your needs first in terms of, what is the work that I want to do? What is the work that lights me up? How am I making sure that I am creating those opportunities for myself? How am I asking for what I want in terms of where I'm spending my time? Now compare that to the days where you've had a rubbish day. And we've all been there, we all have them. The days that seem to really deflate us, the days where we just couldn't give a crap. And we feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders, like we have a cloud just hanging above our heads at the end of the day. And it's like we really just want to crawl across the doorstep when we get home. We give everyone else that look that sort of says, just don't even think about talking to me right now. Everyone else feels the impact of that too, okay? Everyone knows when to give you a wide berth. Not many of us are very skilled at covering these mood swings up. And so everyone else is going to feel that energy from you as well, the energy where you are deflated, you are demotivated. And, recognize how you feel in those moments. Do you care about voicing your opinion when you're feeling deflated and you're not interested and you're not engaged? Do you care about going the extra mile? Do you want to contribute and really have an impact? No, in a word. So putting our own needs first in the work that we do, in our lives overall, is absolutely essential to us really being able to tap into our true potential and recognize for ourselves just how much we have to give others. But as I said, it's also a win-win for those around us because they get the best from you as well. But we cannot know what we truly have to offer and what we truly have to give unless we do spend that time developing ourselves. And I learned the importance of this firsthand early on in my career, where I now refer to that as a quarter-life crisis, for want of a better term. And in reality, what it come down to is that I'd spent all my time, all my energy, all my focus on what I was doing and getting all my qualifications and skills in place. I had never spent any time on myself in terms of just developing who I was as a person, my levels of self-awareness, my awareness of how I interacted with others, my emotional intelligence. None of that, didn't even know what those words meant at the time. And I was in a fast-paced environment where I wanted to do well. This was ultimately what it had all been for. I felt like I'd finally, achieved the role that I wanted in an amazing organization, and I wanted to give my best. But I personally really struggled with perfectionism and huge standards for myself. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. I struggled with high expectations. I struggled with comparing myself to other people. And my response was, I just need to work harder. I just need to put in more effort, more hours. And because I didn't really know myself inside and out at the time, I didn't connect to the impact that was having on me or to other people as well. And I ignored the warning signs in my body that were telling me I was pushing myself too hard. I was pushing myself too far. I needed to slow down and take a step back and actually just take a breath and get some perspective. I didn't know how to achieve my success in a sustainable, balanced way. I was just going after one milestone to the next. And what that resulted in is complete and utter burnout and meltdown very, very early on in my career. And this was kind of crippling to me at the time because I became seriously ill to the extent that I had to slow down. And at that point in time, I really did recognize that I needed to spend some time working on myself. I owed it to me for my own fulfillment, my own happiness, my own enjoyment in my career. I owed it to everyone I was working with because I certainly wasn't showing up and giving the best I could because I was exhausted and burnt out and stressed and overwhelmed. And I owed it to my husband who, bless his soul, did not know how to help me. He didn't know what to do. He just saw the impact of my stress and overwork and overwhelm at the time. So at that point, I really started my own personal development journey that eventually led me to training as a coach so that I can now share the techniques that transformed my life and my happiness and my career with my clients in my programs. Now, had I not put myself first, had I not recognized I needed to put my needs first and get back in alignment with myself and what I was doing, if I hadn't recognized I needed to connect to me and really work on myself and my own development, then goodness only knows what the outcome would have been. I could have had far more serious illnesses. I could have ended up quitting. It would have impacted my relationships and my friendships. But I was able to turn all of that around and really give my all to my work in a way that I never had been able to before. And other people started to notice that. Other people started to recognize that. And they asked what it was that I was doing differently. Now, when I think about the amazing and incredible women I get to work with today in my coaching programs and all that they're also achieving, how selfish would it have been of me not to develop the skills that now enable me to empower them to choose a career of their design? You know, they're doing incredible things. They're launching their own businesses. They're getting promotions. They're embarking on incredible personal goals and trips of a lifetime in the world, and doing the work that lights them up and is meaningful to them. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't known how to do that for myself. So really consider, are you in a situation where you feel somehow you're holding yourself back? You're not giving your very best. You're not being as effective as you could be, but you're kind of stifled and struggling with that idea that to work on yourself is being selfish. I really invite you to flip that idea on its head, because once you start recognizing what you need to be truly aligned to what you're doing, to be fulfilled and happy, you are going to unlock energy and productivity and ideas and inspiration that cannot help but contribute and positively influence those around you. But it takes taking that step backwards and reconnecting with who we are instead of just focusing on what we're doing in order to truly tap into our true potential in that way. So a big topic today, it's something I'm hugely passionate about, but it's so important to recognize it. Now, putting yourself first at this moment in time will mean different things for different people. You know what you need most. Do you need things that are just going to calm you down and help you de-stress? Do you need things that are going to help you with your confidence levels so that you really can be heard and speak up in the way that you want to in your work and in your career? Whatever it is you need, really hone in on what would make the biggest difference in terms of you showing up as the best version of yourself, remembering that everyone else wins when you do. And here it really is about asking for what we need and the support that we know is going to make the biggest difference. So who can help you? What can help you? And how will you prioritize addressing those gaps over the next week? Now, if you feel that you need a bit of a starting point, if you feel that perhaps you're in a situation where what you're doing isn't getting the best from you, isn't truly lighting you up, you know you have skills and strengths and talents that are just waiting to come to the surface, but you don't know how to enable that, then you can download my free resource, which is a Career Success Kit. There is a guide that has 7 simple steps to creating a career of your design. And there's also a planner that's going to help you in just a few simple questions get crystal clear on how to kickstart a more purposeful direction forwards and start taking action straight away. So please click on the link and get your free resource so that you can really start putting yourself first so that you and everyone else around you can benefit. And I can't wait to hear what you achieve as a result. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.